So as I was saying before, I'm a graduate with a degree in psychology. It helps me in my everyday life, my everyday relationships, but I want to dig a little bit deeper into that. So we took a class on relationships and and family orientation and things like that. So I was able to go in depth with how a psychologist looks at healthy relationships and how you're supposed to run a relationship, and then also how to problem solve different things that come up in everyday relationships. So I think that's a vital part in how I deal with myself and how I also help others deal with their relationships. So there are several different types of relationships that I have. I have like the love life relationship, which is going well. I've had a couple of those. I've had college sweetheart. Then after that, I had my local girlfriend. Then because I lived in France, I've also had to deal with long distance relationships and not seeing your significant other all the time. So I've had different relationships that I've personally been through. I've got to say, it is tough to deal with a long distance relationship. Uh, it's super hard. It's super hard to do. Just because of the distance, you don't get to see that person as much. But luckily, with like today's technology, we have FaceTime and different aids that we can use to help bridge the gap of distance. Even though you're not there physically with them, you can still see them and see the expression on their face and different things like that, which is very different from what I grew up with my dad being in the military and going over to the war, and him not seeing my mother for 11 to 12, months in a row. Growing up seeing that type of relationship is really inspiring to say that long distance relationships can work. So that's my first. The relationship that you see at home is your first experience with a relationship and seeing what that's like. So I think the story that I want to tell about how I helped with a relationship is when I was living overseas. One of my college classmates from the Air Force Academy graduated and actually got out of the military after serving 5 years in the United States Air Force as an officer in the Air Force. So he actually got out and came and lived with me while I was playing basketball, professional basketball over in France, which was a pretty cool opportunity. So he came over for the first 3 months, and then there was another American that was actually living in my town working for Nestle, and I knew her for like 8 months before my other friend came out. So I knew both of them for a good bit of time before they met each other, but I just knew they would hit it off. So I was excited for them to meet, and they hit it off for sure. They definitely hit it off. They started going out, and he actually came back to France that year 2 more times for like a total of 9 months, because you can only stay with a 3-month visa. So he came over there 2 more times to like visit her, and they're still together, living in South Los Angeles to this day. They both moved back to the States after that year after her term was up. Yeah, and they're still together. But I think the way that I helped is I introduced them, and then I knew both of them well enough before that I could give sound advice when one of them came to me. I didn't like being stuck in the middle at times, but it was very helpful that I knew both of them and both of their characters before they got together, so I was able to help them in that way. Thank you.